let's talk about the gut. The GI tract really goes from the brain all the way down to the end, which we call the anus. And it does this amazing job of taking food, something from the external world, breaking it down, that's digestion, absorbing it, pulling those small molecules into the body, and then eliminating the leftover stuff that we don't need. So digestion, absorption, and elimination are really important functions to help us pull in building blocks to do all of the things that our bodies need to do. However, there are also repair, restoration, and renewal functions in the gut. And if these things don't have a chance to happen, then and you're constantly digesting and absorbing food, then you're going to have a damaged gut because there's no opportunity to do that repair and the cleanup. And so it's really important to give your GI tract a break. And it is important to make sure there are empty periods throughout the day for your GI tract so that it could do this really important work. There's something called the migrating motor complex that turns on when we stop eating. It is this special movement that happens throughout the GI tract to move junk outward and downward and out and to clean and repair. But if you're constantly eating, the migrating motor complex doesn't really have an opportunity to turn on. And so we're going to try to create empty periods in the GI tract by fasting, which is basically the abstinence of eating. Now, fasting is not a new concept. I am sure that you are aware that it is an ancient practice that is time tested. People have fasted for thousands of years for health reasons, for religious reasons. People still do modified fasts during Lent. There's also Ramadan, where for the month of Ramadan, people are fasting from sunrise to sunset. And these actually do have really profound effects on health. And we actually have data on what happens, for example, during Ramadan. And it's really profound and beautiful, actually. Now, one thing to appreciate is that not all fasting requires you to restrict calories. Okay, you may restrict calories, and that's certain kinds of fasts. And then there are other fasts where you just shrink down the window of time that you're eating. You can still eat all the calories you want without having to, cut down the amount of food you take in on a day. So how does fasting help MS? Well, with MS, we think about the immune system getting very dysregulated, which means that it forgets to follow the rules and inflammation turns on and doesn't really get the signal to turn off. So it's become dysregulated. The act of fasting helps bring more regulation to the immune system. So, for example, you will move away from autoimmunity and inflammation towards a more normal level of functioning for your immune system. And as I said, inflammation comes down. There's this really cool thing called autophagy that happens. Auto means self and phagy means eating. So basically, it's this process of starting to eat up the older dysfunctional cells, making room for new cells to come in. And so autophagy has a chance to turn on when you have had a fasting period. Now, overnight when you're sleeping, very small amounts of autophagy start, maybe at 6 or 8 hours. But the longer you go without food, the more this autophagy process turns on and the more efficient it becomes. There's a lot of studies that show at 24 hours, you're getting tons of autophagy, but you don't have to push it to 24 hours. So as you're removing these older, more dysfunctional cells, you're making room for healthier new cells to come in, stem cells are regenerating, and basically you're slowing down cellular aging. So basically what you're doing is you are creating a new you that is comprised of healthier, newer cells. You turn on your antioxidant genes, and this is really Important because antioxidants protect our cells and proteins and DNA. So antioxidants are protectors, and we need them even for normal processes like the process of digesting food or detox. Everything in the body throws off some dangerous molecules called free radicals. And by having our antioxidants neutralize these compounds, we protect our cells. So fasting is a signal you are sending from your environment deep into your DNA to turn on your antioxidant genes. I think that's actually really cool because this is a way where you have a great level of control over what's happening at the cellular level. Just start fasting and you're going to turn on desirable genes. And blood sugar improves with fasting. There are studies that show that people who are insulin dependent, they've had diabetes for 20 years, go on a highly, supervised, medically supervised fast, and they actually can come off of insulin. That's really profound, actually, because we don't think of, insulin need being reversed, but this is the power of eating less and allowing the GI tract to replenish itself, to bring more regulation to the immune system, to lower inflammation. And so blood sugar can improve. And blood sugar control isn't important just for diabetics. It is actually important for MS as well. Anytime blood sugar starts creeping up and you no longer have tight blood sugar control, inflammation increases. So this is a really important concept for MS care. And also, just by fasting, DNA repair improves, tumors are better suppressed. So, if there's a cancer history, now you're creating a favorable environment so you can go in and surveil for those cancers and cut them out before.